Hi, everyone. My name is Kelly, and I am the study abroad program coordinator. Joining us today, we have Professor Evan Kaiser. He will be leading you all to Florence in spring 2025. We have a special guest, Miss Paula Messina. She is from AIFS, our program provider. She's here to guide us today. We also have our student assistant, student ambassador, Kylie Chan. She just went to Florence in spring 2024. She came back. Now she works in our office as student assistant, and she hopes to inspire you all to study in Florence. I'll pass the mic to Professor Kaiser. After Professor Kaiser and Miss Messina's presentation, you will have a chance to hear about Kylie's experience, and also you'll have a chance to ask questions.
Perfect. Well, good afternoon, everybody. Let's kick this off. Let me share my screen here. All right. Can we all see this? Okay, great. And Paula, if you have information you want to jump in, please feel free to do so at any time.
Okay,
Yep.
no
And
problem.
I'll manage the slides here. But just a quick bit about me, why I wanted to do this program and lead it, y'all. I studied in Bologna as an undergraduate, and it was more than 10 years ago now, but it really, really changed my trajectory, and it put me outside of my comfort zone and kind of gave me the confidence I needed to jump into other unknowns in my life and progress towards a path that ended up somewhere I really like, which is here. So that was a little different than this program. It was an immersion program, um, but I had the best time of my life, and I'm excited to share that with y'all. So, this program is, we're one district in a consortium of four, so you'll be studying along with folks from other Northern California community colleges from Contra Costa, Los Rios, and Santa Rosa, which is another benefit of the program. It's broader than just our district, so you get to meet some new folks from California as well. Um, you probably thought a lot about it, but why study abroad? Why is this worth the money and the time and the uncertainty? Um, we know that fewer than 10% of US college students study abroad, but the benefits are vast, not only for you, but for your future employers and your future careers. It shows that you can take risks, adapt, step outside of your comfort zone, and it shows those admissions and employers folks skills like cultural competence, diversity, problem solving, and openness. Key kind of softer skills. For you, a lot of folks, and probably Kylie has the experience with this as well, gaining a feeling of independence, creativity, tolerance, a sense of initiative when you have to do more things in an unfamiliar place, adaptability, sense of humor, flexibility, values, and the all important patience. So I'm one of these 85% of students that agree that it was one of the most meaningful experiences of their undergraduate education. And later we'll talk about cost, but I'll add that, compared to a program I went to at a UC or others at a CSU, this program runs about 30% less than those. So you're actually, able to take part in this experience for less, which is pretty cool. And we have, yes.
I'm so sorry. I thought you were pausing for change. I was just going to add, if you do the simple math, right? If you're doing something that 10% of students are doing, you're standing out from 90% of your peers. So it's a great way to distinguish yourself and stand out when you go to transfer and you're looking for one of those really competitive transfer spots or very competitive schools. And then when you're in the job market, I mean, I talk to people all the time who studied abroad and say that was all they wanted to talk about in my job interview, that international experience and all of those skills that I developed that Professor Kaiser was just talking about. So, like honors courses, it's a great way to stand out.
Absolutely. Yeah. So why Florence? There are a few other programs you may have heard about. Well, in my view, it's a beautiful city. Just look at this. It's extremely walkable as well. You might know it as the heart of Renaissance culture in Italy. It has a long, long storied tradition dating previously to that, but it's most well known for some of the world famous kind of Renaissance culture, art, and museums. Um, Great food. All of Italy is like that, but excellent food. I could go on and on. Paula, do you have anything to add about why you love Florence?
I love it because of its historical nature and its cultural center, right? You are living and going to school in the cultural center of Florence, and it's like you are in the Renaissance in a lot of ways, right? The streets are that old, the buildings are that old. So you feel like you're in another time. I bet Kylie has a really good something to say great about why she loves Florence. I'm
Kylie,
throwing
feel free to
right.
unmute yourself. Talk
Throwing it
about
right
why
in
you
there,
love
Kylie.
Florence.
Sorry, I was trying to like unmute myself. I actually muted somebody. But yeah, honestly, like what you guys said about the it being walkable, I was definitely gonna talk about that. Um, being here and like driving everywhere, it's such a change walking everywhere. So at the beginning, it feels like a little bit like tiring, I guess. Like when you guys will do a walking tour and everything, and I mean, it's tiring, but you'll also enjoy the views and everything. It's totally worth it. And after you'll get used to it so quickly. And honestly, like walking everywhere was part of one of my favorite things about studying abroad. It's just such a good feeling, like being able to walk everywhere and not it just feels everything feels like more accessible. You get to see so much more. There's really so much to see in Florence. And um I eventually got used to making like 30-minute walks to places just because I wanted to shop somewhere or like go somewhere. Like all the markets are walkable, the shops, like your school from the apartment and everything. It's just a really cool experience walking everywhere. And also a big plus for me was that the museums that are really cool if you guys are into that. I think it's definitely a must. So a lot of them I think are included with the school as well. And with different classes, which is great because then you get to go for free and you don't have to pay the fee. And honestly, there's so many museums and so many spaces for art and everything that I wanted to see, and I didn't even get to see all of it because, like, you're busy with, school and, like, with just so much there. There's so much art. Again, it's like the place in Italy where like the Renaissance began and everything, or where like the heart of the Renaissance is, I guess. So yeah, I left being able to see so much, and there was always something new to see every day that I wanted to do. And really, like I can't really express fully how grateful I am for the experience and how much art and culture there was. Like the first time I saw the Duomo, I was so in awe, and being able to hear the stories from all the tour guides and everything that is provided by AIFS, it was so cool. It really added to the experience and everything. So yeah.
Awesome. Thank you so much for that. You're making me want to go back. In addition to what Kylie mentioned, it's really easy to do some traveling within Europe or within Italy for that matter on your free time because the distance is a lot smaller than it feels like in California. Like I grew up driving 10 hours to Portland and San Diego with my family, right? But Germany's right there and France is right there. It's much closer. So I did this when I was studying. You can take a low cost flight or trains or within Italy especially are pretty affordable and accessible. There is a full academic, schedule, but you have Fridays off consistently for 12 weeks, which makes it a little bit easier to go for a weekend trip and then come back in time for your class. So that's another benefit as well. Paula, I wonder if you want to say a little bit about AIFS and the organization?
Absolutely. So, as Professor Kaiser mentioned, and Kelly, my name is Paula Messina, and I'm part of the University Relations team for AIFS Abroad. We are a study abroad organization that has been doing study abroad for over 60 years now. We have sent over 1.5 million students on programs in over 20 countries. And it's amazing because we have been working with the district and with the colleges of the consortium for decades, since 1988. These programs are sort of what we call legacy programs, right? They have been sending faculty and students abroad for decades. As a matter of fact, in the group that is leaving very soon, we met last weekend, and there was a student whose parents met and went on the program in the 90s, or 80s, sorry. So it's really amazing how much of a family effort this really is. I think that one of our forte is that we have local program coordinators. So when you get to Florence, you will meet our Florence team. They are a group of study abroad professionals that work for us and manage all of our groups. They're there setting up the program. They're there to receive you and make sure that everything goes as smoothly as possible. You'll be taking classes at our study center. We will introduce that to you in an upcoming slide. And then our people are there in case real life happens, right? We know we would love for everything to go absolutely perfect, like in a Hollywood movie, but we know that that's not always possible. Real life happens. So you'll have people to go to if you have any kind of an issue or incident, you need assistance. We're ready to help you resolve anything that happens. And that's who we are.
It's a really, really great partnership that we have here. So let me talk a little bit more about the dates and the program itself, and dig into a little bit about the courses that are being offered in spring, including my own. So here's the calendar. It departs February 1 and then returns May 2. So 90 days, pretty strict 90-day time frame. And as you might be thinking, the semester is a little bit shorter than the 16 or 17 week typical SMCCD semester. There is a spring break in the middle there. You can see March 15 to 23. And then, after you arrive, there's a few days of orientation and workshops before classes begin. So you get a couple days to get settled, get your bearings, and then we're off. So this is the student center, as Paula was mentioning. The classrooms and the AIFS student services near the Piazza Santa Croce. It has a student lounge, computer, and printing access in there for you. Staff are available during office hours and also 24/7 on an emergency basis. And those folks can really help you with orientation, classroom facilities, but also assist with housing and planning for all those excursions, as well as the academic piece, advising and counseling. So really central location, if you can see on this map here. This is kind of the center of the city, right? The Duomo, I believe. And then right there, AIFS Center. So about the academics here, all the courses that are being offered are UC and CSU transferable for GE areas. And in addition to those offerings in the subjects, there's also a Italian life and culture course that everyone will take. So overall, that will be a 12 credit load. One of the key features of this program, although you're in class, Florence is also our classroom. So there's many opportunities to connect what you're learning to your experiences living in Florence, to go to places in Florence that highlight some of the course content, or just to think about the course content in light of the place that you are exploring, which is super cool. I've gotten a few questions about language requirements. There's no Italian language requirement, but there is an Italian language opportunity, an optional survival Italian course for 2 hours each week with local instructors. So if you have the interest and the bandwidth, I personally think that's a great option. My Italian used to be really good. Now it's probably kind of bad, but we'll find out when I get there. So maybe I should take that too. Here's some more specifics about the courses. So the life and culture course that I mentioned is geared towards understanding the culture and society of the city of Florence and the country of Italy more broadly. It's experiential learning. So there will be, it's all lectures and field trips from my understanding on a variety of topics from history, art, architecture, politics, and society to gastronomy, eating, customs and traditions as well. So it's a 3-unit course, and I'll say that probably there's going to be some, light response writing or work, but it will not be heavy. It will be pretty routine and not very arduous for you. Okay. It's the same class across all 4 schools, even though, as you'll see, it has a different prefix. So you'll be all together with folks from the entire consortium from the different districts. Lots of fun guest speakers. Santa Rosa JC is offering media studies classes. So Brian is offering Intro to Mass Communication, Film Appreciation, and Nonfiction Digital Storytelling. So if you're interested in learning more about the specifics of what he'll teach in those, you can check out the courses flyer on the Florence website. It has little blurbs like course descriptions for each class, including mine, more specifics about what will happen in them. Very cool electives, especially if you're a DigMe major. In Contra Costa, Hopi is going to be teaching 2 art courses. The reason why they're fewer, I believe Art 151 especially is a heavier unit load. So it's a longer class, but it's a studio art class. So you'll spend most of the time in studio working on projects, and there won't be a lot of outside work. She wanted me to mention a little bit, there's no art experience required for these classes. Art 5 is kind of an intro course. There are no big essays or tests, but rather practical projects like making a death mask, making a 90s style zine, or creating a weekly postcard. The second one, Art 151, sounds fancy. It's a ceramic studio class. So you'll be working with plasticine and terracotta mostly. And both of them do carry a small fee for materials. It's $40 and $60 respectively. Okay. Joseph at Los Rios is offering math classes, Intro to Math, Symbolic Logic, and Intro to Probability and Statistics. So this is nice, right? Because I'm offering English classes, as I'll say on the next slide. So, even if you're a first semester student, even if you're not, like maybe you've gotten to some of these GEs, but not others. Maybe some of you have done the statistics, but not the English, or vice versa. I'm hoping, together there'll be a wide menu of options for you. And last but not least, here's me. So I'm teaching 2 required kind of GE English classes and then 1 literature elective. So let me talk a little. I won't get into super detail about like the books that I've chosen, but I'll just say for English 100, the first year writing class, your experience in Florence is going to be the main driver of that. So we'll read a few books about mindful travel and empathy and immigration, but you'll be connecting it to your own observations as we go and write about that stuff. There's going to be time in class to write and workshop as well. We do have to write essays because that's the outcome. But I've built it so that we can workshop a lot in class. The second one, this is the only one that requires a prerequisite. If you've already taken 100, then this could be an option for you. It's writing about literature. And we're going to read some really great classic contemporary literature in that class, more modern literature that connects to modern life, politics and society, that kind of thing. And again, we'll have time to workshop and write in class. And last but not least, LGBT literature. My goal with this one is really to bridge US and Italian queer literature. Italian queer literature is almost completely unavailable in English translation. So this is I think a pretty rare opportunity. In this one, there's less writing, more discussion, more reading. And yeah, I'm really excited to teach these. So if you want to learn more, again, you can check out the course descriptions on the Florence website, little blurbs there. And it's a great variety too of different subjects that you can dip your toe into while also making strong progress towards your GE and transfer goals if that's in your future. All right, outside of the academic realm, there's a weekly calendar of really fun cultural activities like cooking classes, sporting events, walking tours, theater and dance events, wine appreciation, olive oil tasting, and other excellent day trips to neighboring cities. So I believe, yeah, some of those cities are Siena. I've been to Siena, fantastic city, really like ancient feel in there. Really beautiful. And San Gimignano in Tuscany, I believe. There's an excursion to the Chianti wine region. I will hopefully definitely be going there too. Look how lovely that is. And others like this. So these are subsidized for our student groups. You can see the AIFS folks to sign up for those. And a calendar of those will be published in advance for you. Okay, and so let's talk a little more about the logistics of how we get there and where we're going to live. So again, Paula, I invite you if you want to chime in with or Kelly or Kylie with any experiences or information that you have to add. But typically the housing is shared, right? So there's a kitchen there, a shared living area with full bath, Wi-Fi, and washing machines, which is not always, I didn't have one when I lived in Italy, so that's pretty cool. But no, there's usually no dryers in Italy. You usually hang your clothes outside on the balcony. That's just kind of how it goes. It does not include meals, but as you can see, they're typically very close to the study center, and you'll be living small group, right? 4 to 6 students, typically in double rooms. Paula, do you want to maybe add something about how students can get connected with housing, if you know?
Yeah, well, so when you are accepted into the program and you fill out your application, you give us some of your preferences. So we will house all students in student apartments, and we will set you up with roommates more closer to departure, not right away, but we will use the information that you give us in your identity questionnaire to be able to put roommates together, and usually we're pretty successful. Usually we have, and then if you are going, if a friend is going, or you meet someone right in those pre-departure stages, and you would like to request one another as roommates, we're absolutely happy to accommodate. But they're nice apartments, and I'd invite Kylie to give us a little more information about where she lived, but generally they're really nice. They're all within the study center, historic center. They're all within walking distance of one another, but it's not a single building, right? These are buildings dotted around Florence, and you'll have normal Florentine neighbors, people who are Italian people who live there. Go ahead, Kylie, tell us a little bit about where you lived.
Yeah, so I lived like right by Santa Croce, so actually it was only like a 6-minute walk to the campus. I got really lucky with my apartment. We had 7 roommates in total. And we lived with 3 double rooms and then 1 single. And yeah, we had the same thing, like we had equipped kitchens, shared living area and everything, and Wi-Fi and washing machines. And like Professor Kaiser said, with the drying, you usually they give you like drying racks. For me it came with the apartment. I'm pretty sure it's like that for all apartments. But yeah, and it's like not as it doesn't take as long as it sounds, really. Just as long as you like make sure you have clothes to wear one day. It usually just takes like a day to dry or whatnot, at least in my experience. And yeah, just be careful with your washing machines and everything. I know there's different rules depending on the washer machine that you guys have. Usually the person who will bring you to your apartment will tell you about that and everything. And with the Wi-Fi, sometimes it can be on and off, so make sure you guys are like good with your homework and everything. A lot of times like it'll rain and then the power will go out or whatnot, but for the most part the Wi-Fi was pretty good. And if you have any issues with that, again, you can contact your landlord or even the school. So yeah, I feel like there's a lot of resources and people available to help you if you guys do end up having problems with your Wi-Fi or washing machines or any of your just living equipment in your house in general.
which is why I mentioned before, real life happens, right? And
Yeah.
I think that part of this experience is living in a place and in an apartment that it can be up to 500 years old. So it is a whole different lifestyle, and you should be prepared for that. But we will have a pre-departure orientation where we will give you lots of hints and tips and get you ready.
Awesome. Thanks, Kylie, for sharing that. I have so many apartment stories, but I'll save them for another time too. I loved my apartment in Bologna as well. So, okay, let's move forward. Let's talk a little bit about financing the program and the cost. So, the program fee overall is $83.45, which gives you access to that shared accommodation that was just mentioned, the emergency contact with staff, and all their services, the orientation program, the workshops, a guided tour of Florence, and then those subsidies for those weekly activities, museums, monuments, walking tours, and cooking classes. This also funds the full day excursions. It's a big part of it is medical insurance, right? Maintaining that insurance while you're abroad in case of you might need it for any medical care, and all the pre-departure services and orientations. So what's not included is the airfare. And as we'll see later, there's a group flight that's available. Or you have the option of purchasing your own, but on later slides, we'll mention the group flight kind of ballpark figure. Tuition fees for your normal SMCCD tuition, which may now have dropped if you're a resident of the county. Textbooks, and I'll say that we do our best to keep the costs low for that. I'll be planning to provide a lot of online readings, and then there might be some small studio fees for an art class, for example, but I hope they won't be too large. Usually not a lot of physical textbooks that you need to purchase. Any personal expenses that you need, including your passport fees or renewal fees, and then any personal travel you do while you're there. Meals are not included, except if they're part of another package. Just gives you some freedom if you like to cook, or later there's actually a voucher program for meals around the city, so a discounted group package. And when I get to that slide, I love Kylie's input on that. I'm sure it was delicious. And then trip protector insurance, which is an optional thing that some people elect to purchase to protect fees in case of interruption. So that's something AIFS would offer you, the option of opting into or out of. So this is the group flight, and correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't think there's details exactly about exact date, exact time. I think that's still being worked on.
It's a little early for that. It will be 2 flights each way generally, because the Florence airport is a small regional airport and it can't land jumbo jets, right, directly from the US. So generally you'll fly to a European city, have a short layover, and then fly to the Florence airport. Generally, they're afternoon flights, overnight to Europe, and then a mid-morning flight getting in early afternoon to Florence. That's approximate. The dates are set, right? Those are the program dates. Those are the dates that we put on the itinerary. So February 1 departure, arrival February 2nd, and then return on May 2nd, same day return. But the specific itinerary, if you sign up for the group flight, the specific itinerary will be on your portal approximately 8 weeks prior to departure. About that, 2 months usually prior. The price is guaranteed as far as the airfare. What is not guaranteed and somewhat subject to change is the airline taxes, right? Those fees and fuel charges, they are subject to change until the day you're ticketed. Generally, we do a really good job at estimating them though. So generally, if there's any change, it is very small, a couple bucks, but not usually. So just so you know, you can count on 1,300, I think. So.
Great, that's really helpful. Thanks for that clarification. Right. And it also, as you can see, includes airport pickup and transfer to your accommodations, and return as well. So we're thinking about finances and all the things. Optional excursions, like I mentioned, to Sorrento, Rome, Venice, really, you know, well-known and beautiful cities a little further away, carry their respective fees. And as you can see, it's a multi-night kind of group excursion, for a pretty reasonable price. And this is the optional meal plan. So a 30 pack of vouchers for use at local restaurants in Florence at any meal, clocks in right under 600. Kylie, not to put you on the spot, but I wonder if you or someone you knew in Florence, did you take advantage of this voucher program?
Yeah, actually, I did use the voucher program. I highly recommend it. Honestly, there's a lot of options now for the different restaurants you can choose, and the deals are really good. I think like I honestly forget, but one of my roommates like calculated how much it was for like 30 meal vouchers, like when you'd eat at certain restaurants, like compared to like the price you pay fully for the 30 vouchers and everything, and divided that up, and it was a pretty good deal, honestly. I forget what the restaurant name was, but there was one that we went to for like lunch and dinner sometimes. And I think it honestly might have been this one from the looks of it. But like we could get like a pizza and a pasta or like a pizza and a salad, and they're both like pretty big. I mean, um I know like Italians don't really, or in Italy it's not really common to like take home food, but if you're like on a budget and like, you know, like I don't know, who cares? Like you can save money and save the rest for later if it's like too much for you, but the portion sizes were really big. And I think some places also include like I think I'm not sure if it was all of them, but they include like the water because you do have to pay for water as well. Not a lot, but it's still like an expense. And yeah, so I'd say it was a really good deal and I highly recommend it. A lot of my roommates also loved using the meal vouchers. We do like roommate dinners with it. Sometimes if like we don't even like give our meal vouchers to like our friends if they didn't have it or whatnot. So yeah, I'd say that it was um a really good price for what you get.
Fantastic. Wow, I love the idea of having a like a roommate dinner or two, especially at the beginning and the end. That sounds great. Okay. So you might have heard a little bit about this eligibility, but if you must be 18 years or older by the departure date, have a 2.25 GPA or higher, and have already completed 12 or more units of college level courses to apply. And so the number one question I probably get is like, wow, that's a great opportunity, and it is worth, you know, a good deal for a lot of these, but it's really expensive. You know, you're looking at maybe $8,000 to $9,000. How do I finance all of this? Aside from working and maybe some other, you know, taking out loans and things like that. My first answer is scholarships, scholarships, scholarships. The AFS has ambassador scholarships that are open to students who meet those criteria, except a GPA of 2.5 or higher. And I believe that's a little bit different this year. There's maybe, I think there's 2 scholarships of 1,000, Kelly, is that right? Or
Yeah,
is this accurate?
I can talk about the scholarship.
Oh, please, yeah.
Yes, AIFS is very generous. They provide $2,000 scholarship. We normally award to 3 students, like $1,000 per person, and then others to get $500 each. So once you are in the program, I'll send you the link to apply. And another big one I just put in a chat is Gilman. So this Gilman is a scholarship awards up to $5,000. You should definitely apply if you qualify. You must be a U.S. citizen. That's first requirement. Second requirement is you currently receiving Pell Grant. I'm actually hosting a lunch and info session next Thursday. I put the RSVP form in the chat. Come join me. So you get free lunch. Actually not just pizza. I ordered pasta. 3 different type of pasta. I have chicken, I have roast vegetables, I have salad, and I have tea and coffee. Come join me. So to learn about this scholarship, and also we will teach you how to write scholarship essays. This essay, how do you write the essays? Not just if you don't qualify for Goodman, that's fine, but you learn how to write scholarship essay for other scholarship because they are all in similar structure. So you can write that scholarship essay for AIFS scholarship, and the next one is find for education abroad. That one awards up to $5,000 as well. So you learn the skills, you can apply for all. So I highly, highly recommend you to join us. Click the RSVP form right now to make sure you attend my info session next Thursday. So again, the fund for education abroad it's another scholarship you can join. I will put that in the chat. Our website, if you go to there's a page, it says how to pay. Let me put that in the chat as well. So you will learn all the way to pay, how to pay about the scholarship, financial aid, and everything. Besides, I won't talk about everything else. We can send you the link of all the scholarships after this meeting. I will be sending you an email. One another big thing is financial aid. If you are currently receiving financial aid, if you are in any other student group, Promise Scholar, or any other group, you might be receiving financial aid. You might qualify for financial aid. So you will need to talk to financial aid's office. I highly encourage you to do that because you don't know how much you will get. In my past experience, many of the students, they were able to receive several $1,000s financial aid fund for the study abroad program they went. So you have any questions, email me. You will get my email address, my phone number at the end, and I will also email you about all the information we just talked about, all the financial aid, all the scholarship information. So don't worry too much. We will guide you through all the process, how to find the program. I believe we have one more slide about how you can fund your program. Yes, this. Besides financial aid and scholarship, you can be creative. Like you still have time. Right now is August. You're living in February, so get a job, saving up. Don't go to expensive concerts. Save those money for next time. So for Florence, and then get extra maybe job babysitting, dog sitting, dog walking. I'm on Skyline College. Sometimes, like every other day, I saw a person who walks 8 dogs around the campus. So I think dog sitting is a great way of getting extra money. So because a lot of people go to work right now, not because during pandemic, a lot of people working from home, they got pets, but now most people are required to go into office. Their pets cannot be left alone at home, so they need dog sitting, take dogs for a walk. And then another big idea is GoFundMe account. You don't know how strangers might be able to help you. Make sure you write a compelling story about yourself. Again, the scholarship info session and essay scholarship, essay workshop will help you with that. And of course, Professor Kaiser, his English professor, he will be able to help you proofread your thing if you send to him. Sorry, put you on the spot, Professor Kaiser.
No, and actually, a great time to do that is I have a standing office hour on Fridays at 11 o'clock on Zoom. So that's mostly for questions about the program. But yeah, if you have a scholarship application and you want to spend 20 minutes with me on it, I'm totally happy to do that with you.
Thank you so much, Professor Kaiser. See, you have all these resources. One last resource I would talk about is your relatives. And I send them an email, send them a text message, even write them a letter. I have a student. She wants to study abroad really badly. She got all the relatives' information from her dad's side, from her mom's side, and many of them she never met. She sent them letter. She wrote them each a family a letter. She end up got several $1,000s from all the relatives. Some of them she never met. So your passion will inspire them to give you money to achieve your dream. So don't be afraid to ask, because a tendency of us is, oh, what happened? They say no. It'll be embarrassing, right? Don't worry about that. If they say no, you don't lose anything. You were not getting anything anyway. But if they say yes, even $100, helps. That would help. So I encourage you to do all this. I'm happy to talk to you one-on-one if you have questions about creative ideas. Thank you. I'll pass the mic back to you, Professor Kaiser.
All right, great. So I think with that, that concludes the bulk of our presentation today. And we have about 15 minutes left for Q&A. So why don't we open it up? I
Yes.
see.
Your contact information, it would be good to have a slide on that. I think some students have been asking me for copy of the presentation, if possible.
Sure. Yeah. Let
That'd
me.
be great.
We'll do that. In the meantime, I will stop the recording and I will upload that to our YouTube account so for future students to watch. Thank you.